my house to here.
Okay.
John made communication with me, which is not allowed because I have a civil protection order against him.
After exiting the Levy County Courthouse after our second hearing with LIEnette, she's claiming I broke the injunction and goes screaming and running back in to file paperwork on me. Judge Craig DeThomasis, who's ruling over this hearing between myself and LIEnette, world's worst neighbor. Well, he places a temporary injunction on me, not based on what I have done. As a matter of fact, he has clearly stated in 2 hearings so far that there's been no evidence that he could actually find that I've done anything wrong. Except LIEnette goes and fills out supplemental information claiming that my legal representation and counsel at that time offered her a bribe to make this all go away. And therefore, since money's involved in a illegal bribe, now Craig DeThomasis places a temporary injunction on me. Not based on what I did, not based on what all of you did, but based on what she is claiming and lying that my lawyer did. You have to understand, this lawyer is a very, very well-respected man in this area. Now, you've seen me hire 2 different counsels at this time. Number 1, Mark Feather, and he's incredible. One of the best, if not the best, in Levy County, outside of Levy County, in Gilchrist, and potentially the entire state of Florida. Because of this issue that LIEnette has caused, I then go hire Randy Shockett, who is right up there with Mark Feather. These 2 guys are the best. Not just in the area, I would say the entire state. Upon exiting the courthouse after the second hearing, when the judge places the temporary injunction on me, literally seconds after exiting, I am on the concrete stairs. LIEnette is to the left. John CROOK is to the left. John CROOK is illegally there. John CROOK does not have a court hearing. John CROOK cannot be on that public road. John CROOK cannot be in the public building. The law is very clear in regards to our civil protection orders. He can't be 500 feet within distance of me. He can't be 500 feet within the distance of George. Neither of them can. There is no safe private or public building except for their home, which they don't have. You've already heard on camera, in the courts, she's in a shed. There is no home. Then she says they live together. I mean, the lies, they go back and forth. The only protected area is their place of residency, which they don't even legally have a home. Therefore, it's not a place of residency, even though they're trying to claim homestead. Well, that's a whole nother rabbit hole there. But there is no protected area. John CROOK cannot be on that road. He has broken the civil protection order 3 times in 3 hearings so far. Coming out of the courthouse, LIEnette starts screaming that we're breaking the temporary injunction. So number 1, George can't break it. There is absolutely no injunction on George whatsoever at all, okay? There's nothing. Now, Craig DeThomasis has tried to limit and illegally take away my freedom of speech and George's freedom of speech because she's associated with me, and your freedom of speech because you're associated with me, and literally the world's freedom of speech. It's illegal. He could put it in paper. It means absolutely nothing. It's illegal, right? He's also taken away my access to my property. Literally, I can't get all over on my property because if you draw a 500-foot radius, I can't be on my property. That's illegal. It's my deeded property. It is my right in the United States of America, which he cannot take away from me, which he did illegally. So these are issues that we will actually address in hearing number 3, which you will see soon. So our legal representation, George and I are walking out of the facility. And to the left is LIEnette with the white Jeep Gladiator. Very distinguishable. Red handles, the whole deal. John CROOK starts yelling obscenities. LIEnette's, "Why are you doing this to me?" Because our legal representation at the time goes over there. And why he does it, well, we're not going to share that with you. That's something for another time, and that's something for in court. But she immediately starts screaming. He immediately starts screaming. And then we go to our vehicle, and she goes running into the courthouse. "I need to file! I need to file!" Which she does. she files a contempt of court with the clerks. Now, she can go in there every single day, multiple times a day, and she can file any paperwork she wants. Just because she files it doesn't mean that there's a contempt of court on my behalf, by any stretch of the imagination. What I can share with you is my legal counsel and representation, Randy Shockett, had every legal right to go over to the vehicle, and he could take video and he can take pictures, and he has every legal responsibility and ability to do those things for the designated purpose of what he has, okay? Doesn't mean anything in regards to a contempt of court on me. Now, there are lots of people who are watching the Florida dockets and going, well, Jeremy, we see she's filed 5 different contempt of courts. Yeah, 5 different contempt of courts. The very first one was literally seconds after we got out of the second hearing. The other ones are all based on YouTube videos, which you will see in the third hearing. He has to retract what he did in that temporary injunction. We'll get to that point. But there are people that are actually watching this docket and also going, well, Jeremy, it says you're charged. Listen, there's quite a few things in regards to legalese, okay? What words mean to what things in the legal system. When you're reading it, you're going, charged, Jeremy must have been arrested. Jeremy must have charges on his record now. I can very clearly and confidently share with you. Number 1, I have not been charged with anything at all, okay? That's the terminology that they use within the system, and it means something different to them than it does to you. So what happens with her filing for a contempt of court, which thus far 5, and she's tried to bundle up some, and they are ridiculous, okay? What happens is the Judge DeThomasis won't even see those. Those go straight up to the state attorney. The state attorney has 30 days to actually decide, is this a criminal charge or is this not? Will we prosecute or will we not? Now, with 5 of them so far on the docket that she's filed, even bundling them up, I can tell you, number 1, I have never been contacted by Levy County Sheriff on any of the things that she's filed. Number 2, I have not been contacted by the state attorney for any of the things that she's filed. Number 3, I have not been arrested at all for anything ever in Florida. Nada. Hasn't happened. Okay? And number 4, I have not been charged with anything whatsoever. Now, number 5, I feel very, very confident I will not be charged with anything because it's ridiculousness. It's utter foolishness that comes out of this woman's mouth. And that means you don't have to worry. I'm okay. George is okay. And we're going to tell you why. If she continues to frivolously file, she can actually get felony charges. Now, she's very clear in the last January 10th meeting in court in Ohio that she stated that the state attorney is going after me for aggravated stalking. All right, so let's try and dissect that a little bit. This is what she told the Ohio judge, okay? And the Ohio judge told her, I don't care. And nor should the Ohio judge care. It doesn't matter. She's there in court in Ohio based on her breaking the law and contempt of court. Really what John and LIEnette have done, the Crook and the Lie have done, is told Ohio, F you, we don't care. We don't care. You have no jurisdiction, where they have every aspect of jurisdiction of what has happened, and their jurisdiction goes into Florida, all 50 states, all territories, all over what we know as the United States. With her continuously contacting the state attorney or filing frivolously, saying that I stated her name, which remember, this is a woman whose legal name is not Michelle, but she claims that's her name. It's Michelle, right? Michelle Preston. We have our full background check on her now. Her last name legally isn't even Preston. All right. She pulled a name that she had from one of her other marriages, and now she's claiming it as her name. It's not her legal name. One of her other marriages is still her legal last name, and her legal first name is LIEnette. And I have no problem with my freedom of speech and your freedom of speech, exercising that freedom of speech, saying LIEnette, even though I don't call her LIEnette. I call her LIEnette. So how in the world are you going to file contempt of court charges on somebody saying they said your name and that they're breaking a temporary injunction when they don't even say your name? You don't even claim that your name is LIEnette or LIEnette. You say your name is Michelle. This circle could just go on and on and on in craziness, delusion, insanity. So she states I say her name. She even goes on in these documents to claim and incriminate John even further, stating what he has done. And she incriminates herself, stating what she has done in these documents. They are now legal documents being used against her in the court system. How in the world this woman's mind works? Well, again, it doesn't, but I can never, ever understand. The only thing I can try and comprehend is her supporters are trying to give her legal advice, and all her supporters have done is help incriminate her further and further and further. She's not the only one being incriminated, though. John Crook, yep, the Crook, breaks the civil protection order yet again while George is driving by, and George is filming. We film every single time we pull out of our driveway until we are safe in another building. No matter where we go, at any point in time, a camera is rolling. Now, John, just in the January 10th hearing in Ohio, claims they're still illegally filming me. You can film anything you want from the public road. That's it. There is no exception. Whether he likes it or not, whether you like it or not, it can be filmed. That's it. Period. You could go, Jeremy, you can't go after him for contempt of court for parking out in front of a courthouse. Yeah, he's incriminated himself. He's breaking the law. I can. You can't do something if he's on his own property and he's yelling at George. Yeah, we can. He's breaking the law. He has civil protection orders that state this is the law, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. They will be incriminated. They will have charges. There is no doubt whatsoever. And very potentially and possibly, they will be going to jail very, very soon. So let's take a look here and keep in mind, George is filming, and then John Crook tells the deputy sheriff, well, yeah, I told her this.
Yes, ma'am. How are
Hi
you?
there.
So what's going on?
Couple things. When I was driving from my house to here,
Okay.
John made communication with me, which is not allowed because I have a civil protection order against him. And so I need to file a report on that. I have video footage of him. I record every time I drive by because the man is known to pull out a firearm for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do it for my protection and my safety. And then the other thing that I needed to know was what we came into Levy County Sheriff for. If you guys have case numbers for that, that needs to be initiated as well.
For which one? With the one I talked to?
Yes.
That was turned over to investigations. I don't have anything more on that. They were still all working at it at that time.
So if I can get names and numbers of who to follow up with, that way I can follow up next week.
Lieutenant Ryan.
Okay. If I could have you write it down for me, I'd appreciate it.
And what's John's last name?
Cook.
Cook. So Mr. Cook was making statements to you as you drove by?
Yeah, it's hard to hear, like my microphone on my camera doesn't pick it up, but I heard it with my ears. And then if you look at the footage that I have, you could tell by his body language that he's puffing up his chest and looking right at me and yelling. So I have that, if you need me to email that to you.
No, that's all right. Just tell me now. What was he saying? What was he saying? Do you remember?
I couldn't recall, but you could hear him yelling. And then in the
And
past,
oh.
when we've made reports, usually the deputy wants a copy of what we have.
Right. But Mr. Cook is was he at his residence or where was he at when you drove by?
Yeah, on his property.
Do you have a copy of that injunction for Mr. Cook? The no contact?
I have a digital copy. I don't have the paper copy on me.
What state is it? Is it digital? Where's the injunction out? Is it out of Florida?
It's out of Ohio.
Out of Ohio?
Yeah.
Okay, it's the Ohio one?
I myself and Jeremy Hills, we have one on both Cook and LIEnette and Preston.
Mm. 3 nights on the roof. Can I get 1099 this time, please? Last forward radio. Can I get 1099 this time?
Someone just pulled up to the gate. Are you expecting someone in a
No, ma'am.
Now, are you able to go to his residence and request footage of what he has?
Go to this resident to talk to him and try to get both sides of the story.
Okay.
Spell that last name properly.
And you do want to watch the footage, or you don't?
I can watch the footage, yes, maybe in 1 minute.
Okay.
That's the case number 300, demonstrate case paragraph 23-12545-144. Lieutenant Narayan, Narayan, of investigations.
Okay.
Some code. Three five two 486-5111, and as for listen all for them, the operator.
Okay.
This would be 3.
Okay.
When you get on it with the operator, ask for Lieutenant Orion's extension, and he'll answer, or I'll go to his voicemail, and he'll be able to call you back.
Okay.
All right.
And what are his hours? Do you know?
No, ma'am. He's an investigator. They're in and out on a regular basis.
So typically Monday through Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Let's see this video.
So again, every time I drive by, I do it for my safety.
Mm-hmm.
You see how he's looking right at the camera?
Mm-hmm.
And he's yelling something at that point, like right before this, right at 10 seconds, 9 seconds, this is at 11 seconds, he yells something. And that's the barricade wall that they've built. Do you need to see it again?
No, ma'am.
Do you want me to email the protection order to you? Because you guys should have it on file, and it should be in the Federal Registry.
I'll look if I can get it.
Okay. Is that something you have access to now while you're here?
No, ma'am. I'll see if my dispatch can bring it up.
Okay. And then once you go and talk to Mr. Cook, will you call me back with a follow-up on what he said?
What's in Mr. Cook's address?
What's the question?
Their address, is it
151?
151 North Otter Creek Avenue.
You were, again, I'm just trying to give you an idea. You were
So I was leaving my house, which I live on North Otter Creek as well.
What's right on North Otter Creek?
It's, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
What's that?
What's our address? I'm having a brain fart. Hold on a sec. And so I have to drive from my driveway past their property to get here to the schoolhouse.
Okay. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where you were initiating from to come to the schoolhouse, so I can articulate it properly in my report. All right, ma'am, I'm gonna go over there and see if I can make contact with him.
Okay, and then you have my phone number.
Yes, ma'am. All right, ma'am. I will give you a call back from the block number and tell you what I find out. All right?
Okay, all right. Thank you.
This is Cook, Levy County Sheriff's Office.
Hi, sorry I missed your call.
That's quite okay, ma'am. My dispatch was unable to find an active injunction in the state of Florida at this time, so that's why I'm writing the information report. So, I talked to Mr. Cook. Mr. Cook stated that he, made the statement of stop filming me.
Okay.
Is what he said. He said, and I'll be putting in my report. I can't prove, otherwise I cannot prove anything else.
You're not going to find an injunction in Florida because it's a civil protection order out of Ohio. So it'll be in the Federal Registry. And I know that it's in there because I've had several deputies pull it up.
I appreciate that. That's what I'm trying to make sure I had the proper address, so I have everything properly documented. So that will all be added into my informational report that the Ohio court order, but it's as far as we can prove right now, it's not it's not in our system for the state of Florida. I cannot confirm or deny why. I don't know why it's not. I don't know what because it's not.
Okay, so, but it should be active in the Federal Registry. I know that it's there. And the paperwork that we gave you guys a week and a half ago, there's a copy of the civil protection order in there, and we've submitted actual physical copies to the Levy County Sheriff's Department, so you guys have copies of it.
And we still got to go through the court system, just because it's what the sheriff's office. You know, I don't practice that portion of the law, so I cannot intelligently speak about that portion of the law, ma'am. I don't want to sit there and tell you something I do not know is 100% gospel.
Okay.
So that's why I'm writing an informational report. So if it does come back where the state attorney's office says, yes, you know, it is a violation, then yes, I can upgrade a sworn complaint.
Okay.
But until then, I am documenting it, you know, in a report. So there is a physical report of the incident that happened.
Okay, I appreciate it. Now, is John aware that he cannot make contact with me, regardless where he is?
You know, I've told him. You know, I asked him what was going on. You know, and he stated, you know, he was working and he looked up, seen your car with the camera, with the phone pinned up against the window, and all he stated was, you know, stop filming me. You know, he didn't have anything else to say. He doesn't want to say anything else to you, and I'm not going to be an agent. A third-party agent, you know, to either side.
Okay. But I guess my question is, does he realize that...
I don't know, ma'am. You know, if I start asking him questions like that, you know, then I could be, it could possibly be presumed that I'm an agent for you.
Okay.
I was out there investigating what he stated, because you stated you couldn't understand what he stated.
Correct.
I asked him what he stated so I could add that to my report properly.
Okay. All right, and then my last question is, and I appreciate you going to his residence just to verify that he did make contact with me. Is there, would I be able to request a copy of the report that you're writing up today?
Yeah, it won't be approved today because I have no supervisor above me that'll be able to do it till at least, at very minimum, Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay.
Tuesday or Wednesday. We come back on duty Wednesday. My sergeant comes back on duty Wednesday.
Okay.
And then has to go through him to get approved before it can even be released.
Okay. So I can call next week and follow up then?
You can call next week and follow up, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and just speak to the operator?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, Happy New Year, and again, I appreciate your time.
Anytime, ma'am. You take care. Happy New Year. You too.
You too. Bye. So the day that John violated the civil protection order by making contact with me by yelling and screaming, which he later admits to the deputy, that day she runs to the court and files on me when I don't even have a civil protection order. They don't have one against me. So in her filing, she
throws
says
John under the bus.
She does, and she even states in here exactly what he says, admitting that he violated the CPO by making contact with me. And it says that I drove by and I was filming him, and the only thing, John was cleaning a turtle or something, and the only thing he said was stop filming me. She just incriminated herself and John. This is all public record. And so looking at one of her many frivolous filings, this one is dated 12/22. She uses her Ohio civil stalking protection order as part of evidence in her filings, which makes no sense to me. And in her reasoning is that you are doing this out of retaliation and you're using the Ohio courts on herself and John as a game to punish one for filing for protection order and losing him money because he can't or shouldn't be, it's hard to read her handwriting, do videos about me or my daughter/family anymore. Mr. Hales is using the Ohio courts and judge as a tool to hurt, harass, and further destroy me and my family.
This is all before hearing number 3, which hearing number 3 is going to blow your mind. And just to be clear, I have never made any money off of LIEnette or the Crook. Now, they've tried to get money from me, but I've made nothing off of them. The only thing I've ever made money off of is me, my mind, the way that I work, my own skill, my own labor. I make money off of the way I think and the things I do. And that's so foreign to them That's why they stalked us here. That's why they tried to get a little piece of the money, because they see us giving so much money away. And these fools continue to throw each other under the bus and others that associate with them. And they literally file legal paperwork telling on each other. Boy, you don't want to miss hearing number 3, because it gets even crazier.